been quite an eventful day over here in Bayelsa State. The election in Bayelsa State was characterized by late arrival of INEC officials and late arrival of electoral materials. Voters came out in their number quite early, and as early as 8:30, there were no INEC officials or electoral materials on site. Governor Doye Jiri voted at Sampo, and he applauded the process and says he can't wait for a day when INEC will opt for electronic voting. At in Ogya local government area, former President Goodluck Jonathan had to go to his polling unit twice before he could vote. It went as early as 8:30 and there were no INEC officials on site, and had to go back home and waited. And the INEC officials came to his polling unit around 11 a.m., had to set out their materials, and he had to vote by 11:31 a.m. alongside his wife and his mother. At nearby Opome communities, still in Ogya local government area, they didn't have an itch-free experience of the election process. In fact, the beavers were malfunctioning. People were with their PVCs moving from polling unit to polling unit, looking for their names as their earlier anticipated polling units. They went there and they were told by the INEC officials that no, their names could not be found, so they should go to the next polling unit. There were some that at the end of the day, after visiting up to 3 polling units, eventually found their names and could vote. Others were not so lucky, as at the time we're leaving Opome community. We also went to Kolo community in Ogya local government area, and they had a semblance of a smooth process. Now, in Yanagwa, there was a protest, as 4 wards in Yanagwa didn't see any electoral material, and there were no INEC officials on site to give an explanation on the reasons for the election not taking place. The protesters went to the INEC office in Bayelsa State, where they stated their grievance and said they were not leaving until they have an explanation on why they couldn't vote. What is interesting amongst the voters was that everybody had their PVCs. It was glaring that these people actually wanted to vote. In fact, at the first time they got to the INEC office, security officers there felt, oh, they were just, troubleshooters who were looking for, an easy way to scuttle the process. And they said, if you were voters, your registered voters, show us your PVC. And these protesters actually brought out their PVCs and say, look at my PVC, I want to vote. And they started chanting, we want to vote, we want to vote, new Nigeria, that is what we want to vote. It was a sight to see people from all walks of life across different ages chanting that they want to vote. There were mothers there that said they had to leave their children at home just to come out and exercise their franchise, and they couldn't stomach the fact that materials were not there, INEC officials were not there. But due to that protest, INEC chairman has announced that the election has been rescheduled for tomorrow. So everybody that's supposed to vote at Ward 4, Ward 6, Ward 8, and Ward 14 in Yanagwa, their election has been rescheduled, and they're expected to be at their polling unit by 10 a.m. tomorrow, and the voting will last till 4 p.m. For these polling units, they were lucky to have officials and materials. They actually voted, but now, due to the late arrival of material, they couldn't begin at 8:30 as expected. So voting took place much, much late in the night. As of the moment of filing this report, as we're speaking now, sorting and counting is going on across most polling units and wards in Bayelsa State, and I will keep you updated until the sorting and counting is done. So it's back to you in the studio.